I was working on a different video. However, new info has been revealed and we may see a V buff. Let's talk. Someone in the Blush Crunch server asked if V would be getting a buff. qwel's response was basically a maybe, which is neat that they're considering it. If you've been playing Dandy's World recently, you'll know that players have been wanting a V buff for a while now. But is this the right decision? I'll be giving my opinion on the matter. Before I continue, please be respectful in the comments. If your opinion is different, let me know. So players have been wanting V to get buffed under the belief that V has been power creeped by other toons and that V doesn't feel like a main. Some players even feel like she's not worth playing, which are fair criticisms, but I believe these points are missing some nuance. The only recent toon having the stats to support this theory of power creep would be Yatta. Due to her only having 1 star and stamina, which is one of the weaker stats in the game, she is allowed to express her stat distribution in a way that almost trivializes the game in solo runs and play a unique supporting class in groups. Yatta still has restrictions and plays an all-rounder role that allows her to be great at extracting and is capable of distracting, combined with her passive ability to essentially create more items within the run. Release did instill this worry in fans that the newer toons would be too good. However, the restriction of Yatta being 1 star and stamina did put her in check. Sure, she was a great toon, but it didn't really mean she was outclassing anyone, as well as Yatta players needing to have good stamina management. This theory starts to fall flat, especially in the context of all the new toons we've seen so far. The stat distributions are nothing crazy comparative to the rest of the cast. In fact, most of the stat distributions we've seen are quite similar, if not identical, to past toons, but that's a topic for a different video. The more common reason players want a V buff is because she is difficult to play with her stats. V is still the best extractor in terms of pure stat distribution, but her distribution is unfavorable for almost every other aspect in gameplay. That's where her abilities become a factor. V has 2 stars in stealth and movement speed. This makes her very liable to being a squishy target. This is why V players have to play very passive and need some type of support to be able to get to machines consistently and safely. V's ability Mic Check allows V and her teammates to see all nearby twisteds for a few seconds, and this works regardless if there's a blackout or not. With a 60-second cooldown, it does help the team and herself pretty well. I could see Mic Check getting a cooldown reduction as well, since this is what makes V a great supporter in the first place, and it does help her navigate floors. I think it should be 40 to 30 seconds. Another issue people had with V is that her passive isn't too useful, considering the fact that after playing for a while, you'll usually already know where machines are located. And since V's passive only works on the closest machines, since she doesn't have the speed to get to those machines before her teammates, this passive feels more or less redundant. The mains don't really have crazy second abilities. Some are just helpful indicators. If you want examples, you could look at Astro and Sprout. Sprout and Astro can see who's low on health and stamina, respectively. Now imagine if they could only see 1 toon at a time, and it was the closest one to them. It doesn't really make sense, and it is for that reason why I have to agree with the OP that originally asked this question if V would be getting a buff or not. V may not have great stats, but changing her stats feels unnecessary unless we see an actual rise in power creep, a situation I don't find too likely. But if it were the case, I think supplementing a star and stealth into any other stat, like movement speed, wouldn't be a bad idea. If the game were to stay consistent as it is right now, I think the reasonable response is to allow V to stay, as she is stat-wise, since her stats do make sense for her character, but balance her by making her abilities fit that supporting role better. I think people forget that V is a supporter as well as an extractor. By making V more proficient in support, it could allow them to be more of an appealing option rather than what we currently have. As it stands, V mains usually struggle to get to a machine without risking being seen, and that's if they are able to get to a machine in the first place. Allowing these changes would allow V mains to position themselves better as well as have more meaning on a team. But that's just my opinion on the situation. Let me know if you have different thoughts or ideas in the comments. Just be mindful. I hope to have some discourse about potential changes V could go through, as we don't see them that much on teams anymore. But that's all for now. Thank you for watching.